Hello again and welcome to the 140k Imperial Guard Tactics video. Now before we get into today's video, as per tradition, I'd like to say a big thank you to York Chan for sending in these cool pictures of his Cadians holding the line against the vile Greenskins. Sadly, York did not win that game, so I hope he's going to turn himself into the nearest Inquisitor slash Commissar to receive his just punishment for failing the Emperor. But before you do that, thank you for sending in these pictures. I think York sent some pictures in before, and I do love the colour scheme for his classic Cadian army. They do look really, really good. So thank you. If anyone else has got any cool pictures they'd like to send in to me, please post them on my Facebook page. There'll be a link down in the description below. Preferably, if you could post them on the page rather than send them to me in a message, that'd be great, just because I find it much easier to view them then. But yeah, that's it. So without further ado, let's get into today's video, which is going to be a quick tip Tactica video. We're going to be doing it as a bit of like an expansion pack, a slight extension to one of the other videos that I did this week, which was how to outstrike an Imperial Guard. And the extension will be mortars, how to make them work. Okay, because if you go online and you go to any forum where they're complaining about Imperial Guard, or any forum which is giving advice about Imperial Guard, the first thing that anyone says to you is take 3 squads of mortars. Take 3 squads, always take 3 squads of mortars. No matter what you do, take 3 squads of mortars. And the problem is that is actually bad advice. Okay, because mortars, there's a good reason why they only cost 5 points. Okay, because what you're paying for, 5 points, is for D6 bolter shots. Now, yes, there are some factors that make mortars good. For example, they don't require line of sight, so they're very easy to hide. They have a 48-inch range, which means they can reach out and damage most things on the board. That is true. That's very, very true. And also, they're great for filling out a brigade, because they're only, I think, 33 points per mortar squad, something like that. And so you can fill out your heavy support section of your brigade for a mere, 100 points. So they're all very good things about the mortars. But unless you take the mortars in a specific format, you will struggle to get them to actually work. Okay? Because the thing with mortars, it's only D6 bolter shots. The thing with mortars is you're guardsmen. You're hitting on 4s the majority of the time. So if on average you're getting 10 shots from your mortar squad, okay, you're only going to hit 5 times. Now if you're facing against Marines, you're only going to wound half the time. So if you're lucky, you'll wound 3 times. If you're lucky. Now if those Marines are in cover, you're not going to kill any. If those Marines are out of cover, statistically, you'll kill 1. Okay, so it doesn't seem like these are the wonder weapon that everyone's talking about. Well, this is how you make them good, and this is the factors to take into account. Right, number 1, shooting these things against Marines isn't really the best use of your time. They are good at killing infantry, but they're very specifically good at killing light infantry. Unfortunately, that's what most people use to screen these days. Things like the Loyal 32, for example. That is what mortars are particularly good at getting rid of. Orcs, one of the go-to competitive tournament horde armies. You'll struggle to go to a tournament these days and not see orcs, which is a reversal of how it used to be. Genestealer Cult, very popular at the moment. Mortars are pretty much designed to kill them. So they are very, very good, but you have to take them in a very specific way, because if you take Mordian mortars, doesn't mean anything. They're not really worth it. There's a reason why, if you look through my battle ports, when I use my Mordians, I basically don't take mortars, because they're not worth it in that format. They're very rarely worth it. Okay. And what you have to remember is one last thing I want to say, sort of a point against the mortars before we get into how to make them work, is they each squad takes up a heavy support slot. Now, if you're running a brigade, you only have 5. You might want to run 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 Liam Russets, not in squadrons. You might want to run a few Bassets, a few Liam Russets. You might want to run other things than mortars. And if you instinctively just go 3 mortar squads, then you're limiting your options. Okay? Now, how do you get mortars to work? Well, it's very simple, guys. You have to basically take Cadian mortars. Okay, when people say mortars are great, people naturally assume you're taking Cadian mortars, because Cadian is probably the most tournament competitive regiment out there. You can argue Catachan, I understand. You definitely can argue Catachan. They are probably equal footing, but you see a lot more people take a Cadian Loyal 32. Okay, but you take them Cadian, which means those mortars are going to be staying still, which means at the very least they're going to be rerolling 1s. And then what you do is you take a company commander and you just put him in there and he just babysits them. He just babysits the mortars and he just tells them every single turn, take aim, and that means because they're Cadian they get to reroll all hits. And suddenly they're good. Suddenly you're getting 30 bolter shots turn on average, which you're getting to reroll the hits for. Suddenly you go from 15 hits to like 22, 23 hits. You know, it already makes a huge difference. It just makes such a difference. And then if you want, you can, if there's a big blob of orcs coming towards you, and you just have to kill them, because if you don't, they're going to use endless green tide and come back, and you're going to waste your time. You can put things like overlapping fields of fire on them, and suddenly you've got mortars hitting on 3s, rerolling all hits, and that's when they become good. So that is how you get your mortars to work, guys. They're perfectly okay. They're perfectly meh in any other regiment. They're still good, but I don't take mortars unless I'm taking Cadians. Okay, that's the best way to run them. If you're otherwise, you have better options. Okay, but they are cheap. They're not going to do any. They're not going to detract from your army. They're pretty good, but they have low damage output unless you build for it. But they are very, very good mortars. I don't want people going away from this video and going, "Oh, mortars are shit. Mordian Glory said mortars are shit." No, that's not what I'm saying. Mortars aren't shit. Mortars are very, very good, but they're only really tournament competitive if you're taking them as Cadian mortars. Otherwise, they're fine. They do okay. They're cheap. They have good damage output. There you go. So, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think about mortars. Am I barking mad? Are mortars and auto include in every list, and you're absolutely stupid if you don't take it? Or, do you agree with me that unless you're taking Cadian mortars, they can be a bit of a letdown? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.